Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as assistant professor in Chevrolet Engineering College. I'm dealing the subject electrical machines 2. Now the topic in that is alternators on load. So see here, when you put the alternator on the load, we are compulsory having three types of drops. First one is voltage drop due to armature resistance RA, and second one is voltage drop due to armature leakage reactance XL, and third one voltage drop due to armature reaction. Now we are actually going to explain armature reaction drop. So see here, when the armature reaction effect is there, what is armature reaction? The effect of armature flux on the main flux. It is called as armature reaction, right? So in the case of alternators, the power factor of the load, it has a considerable effect on the armature reaction. So we are considering totally three cases with the power factor. First one unity power factor, second one lagging power factor, and third one leading power factor. So before discussing that, we have to note that this three-phase machine, the combined ampere turn wave, it is sinusoidal wave. The three-phase machine, it is a combined ampere turn wave, and it is a sinusoidal wave which will be moving synchronously. So this ampere turn or MMF wave is concentrated, and that the number of turns per phase is N, capital N. So further, suppose the alternator is loaded with a resistive load of unity power factor, then what will happen? IA, IB and IC. See the currents IA, IB and IC. These three will be in phase with their respective phase voltages. And the maximum current IA will be flowing, this one, the maximum current IA will be flowing when the poles are in position as shown in the figure A. As shown in the figure A, the IA will be maximum when the poles are in this position. Okay, so or this IA will be also maximum at time T1. Time T1, IA will also be T1, IA will also be maximum. So when IA is maximum value, here IB and IC have 1/2 of their maximum values. When IA is the maximum value, IB and IC are 1/2 of the maximum values. Right? So the instantaneous direction of currents which are shown in A figure, these are shown in C here. The instantaneous time for figure A is shown in C. So at instant T1, IA will be flowing in conductor, which is proportional to, IA will be flowing in the conductor, and whereas IB and IC will be flowing outwards the conductor. Okay, IA will be into the conductor and IB and IC will be flowing outside the conductor. So as seen from D figure, this is D. As seen from D figure, the MMF is equal to N into IM. Okay, so it is produced by a phase A dash horizontal. And if you consider the other two phases, IM by 2 into N, they are each at 60 degrees to the horizontal. Okay, so the total armature MMF is equal to the vector sum of these three MMFs. Okay, vector sum of IA, IB and IC. So armature MMF is equal to, first IA is N into IM plus 2 into N into, sorry, 2 into half of value, 1 by 2 into n into Im. And the angle between is 30, 30 cos 60 total. That is equal to 1.5 NIM. Okay, so as seen at this instant T1, the MMF of the main field, it is upwards, and the armature MMF is behind 90 degrees. Okay, so if you see at instant T2, at time T2, at this instant, the poles are in the same horizontal position. Here, the poles are in the same horizontal position, and also IA is equal to 0 here. IA is equal to 0. IA is equal to 0. So, IB and IC are equal to 0.866 of their maximum values. And IC did not change the direction during the interval from T1 to T2, right? IC is always negative. And the MMF vector will be remain unchanged of IC also. So here at T2, D will be there. At T1, this one, this figure, this will be there. So it is the at T1 IA, IB, sorry, IA, IB, this one is IA, IB and IC. At D, IA is 0, so only IB and IC are present. Okay, so see here, the total armature MMF is again the vector sum of 2 MMFs. So armature MMF can be written as 2 into 0.866 N into Im cos 30 degrees. So that is equal to 1.5 N into Im. So I can say that armature MMF will be remaining constant with time, right? And it is 90 degrees behind the main field MMF. This is what we have discussed is armature MMF. It is 90 degrees behind the main field MMF. So it is only distortional in nature. And it rotates synchronously round the armature. That is nothing but it rotates synchronously through the stator. And for lagging load of 0 power factors, all the currents are delayed in 90 degrees time. And armature MMF will be shifted to 90 degrees with respect to the poles. Like this one, E figure. So armature MMF will be demagnetizing the poles and it causes reduction in the induced EMF. So there will be reduction in the terminal voltage automatically. And for leading loads of 0 power factor, the armature MMF is advanced by 90 degrees, reverse of lagging load. So the armature MMF is advanced by 90 degrees with respect to the position in D, with respect to the position in D. Okay, so as shown in figure F, the armature MMF will be strengthening the main MMF. So this causes the armature reaction is wholly magnetized and it causes an increase in the terminal voltages. Okay, so I will show you the next figure. All these are summarized in a briefly in a following diagram. So see, first one, unity power factor. At the unity power factor, in this case, the armature flux is cross magnetizing. Okay, and this result, the result is that flux is at leading tips. Flux is at leading tips of the pole, and it is reduced when it is increased at trailing trips. When it is increased at trailing trips. Okay, so these two effects will be nearly offsetting each other. Total resultant we are getting is nearly half set of each value. Totally average of the strength and the constant. So armature reaction for unity power factor, we can say from this it is distortional. And for lagging power factor, so before, as you see in the figure, the armature flux will be moving back by 90 degrees lagging, right? It is directed opposition to the main flux. So actually the main flux will be decreased. So the armature reaction in this case is wholly demagnetizing. Okay, so with the result that weakening of main flux, there will be less EMF. For generation, there will be only less EMF, so less terminal voltage. So to keep the value of this generated EMF same, this field excitation has to be increased for the compensation of this weakening. How much the flux is weakened, we have to add extra field excitation in the for the decompensation of weakening flux. Next, zero power factor leading. So in this case, the armature flux is moving forward 90 degrees. So it is in main flux. It is in phase with the main flux. So what happens? Opposite to main flux means the main flux will be decreasing. It is in phase with the main flux means this will be the main flux will get added. So in this case, armature reaction is wholly magnetizing. So more EMF we will get. So to keep the value of generated EMF the same value, we have to decrease the field excitation. And for intermediate power factor, it is neither zero lagging or neither zero unity or neither leading. So it is called as intermediate power factor. So here the effect is partly distortional and partly demagnetizing because PF is lagging here. This is the armature reaction for a synchronous generator. Next, what is synchronous reactance? So see here, for the same excitation before what we have discussed, for the same excitation, same field excitation, the terminal voltage is decreased from its no load value E0 to V. Suppose if we consider for a lagging power factor. So this is because of three types of drops due to armature reaction resistance IRA, and drop due to armature leakage reactance IXL, and drop due to armature reaction IXA. Okay, so the drop in the voltage due to armature reaction, it is accounted by assuming the presence of fictitious reactance XA in the armature winding. So because of XA, we are getting this. The value of XA is such that it is represented by I into XA. So I into XA will be representing the voltage drop in the due to armature reaction. Okay, and the leakage reactance XL, or it can be also represented by XP, and the armature reactance XA may be combined. XL and XA is combined to give synchronous reactance XS. Okay, so XS means here I can write XL plus XA. Okay, so XS is equal to XL plus XA. So the voltage drop in the alternator under load is, total voltage drop is here IRA plus J into IXS. Again, IXS can be written as IXL plus IXA, right? So simply I am taking common IRA plus J into XS, that is, J into XS, that is equal to RA plus JXS is nothing but impedance ZS. So this ZS is called as synchronous impedance of the armature. Okay, ZS is called as synchronous impedance of the armature. So see here the phasor diagram. I am representing this. This is up to this is, it is voltage. This is no load voltage. And this is normal voltage. So this we will be representing in the characteristics, internal voltage, external voltage, like that. So see here, the vector diagrams of a loaded alternator. E is the, here E is the load induced EMF and E naught is the no load induced EMF. Okay, so here E is equal to IRA plus J into IXS, right? IXS is again represented by IXL plus IXA. So first V is the reference vector taken, V here, and I is lagging. So IRA, depending upon the I am writing IRA, I have to add to V IRA drop. So IRA parallel. So perpendicular IXS, total IXL plus IXA. So up to IXL you are calling it as load induced EMF, and up to IXA it is called as no load induced EMF. So I will briefly explain you in the next topic, vector diagrams. See here, vector diagrams of a loaded alternator. Okay, so here E is equal to V plus IRA plus IXS. Okay. So here E is equal to, I'm writing the formula. E is equal to V plus I into RA plus J into X L plus J of XL plus XA. Okay, so this is the formula, and E naught is equal, sorry, wait. E I am writing formula, XL only XL. Okay, so E naught means add plus. For E naught, I have to add E naught is equal to V plus I into RA plus JXS. Okay, so this is E naught formula and E formula. So see here, for forming the phasor diagram, I am taking three types: unity power factor is equal to 1, and here power factor is equal to lagging, and the third one, power factor is equal to lead. Okay, leading power factor. So for unity power factor, I will be in phase with V, right? Okay, so V here, see V here, and on the same phase we have to take I. Okay, and next for forming E, I have to add for V IRA drop. Okay, so IRA drop will be same as I. IRA drop will be following the I. So IRA will be same as I. So for V I have to add VI. So for V I have to add IRA drop, right? So from ending of V I have to add IRA drop like this. Okay, same as I. How I is there? How I is located? I have to add IRA. Next, after that, I have to add I into JXL. Okay, IXL, nothing but IXL. So this IXL will be always, inductance will be perpendicular. Okay, perpendicular to the this resistive drop or current vector. So perpendicular means 90 degrees. So 90 degrees I have to add this vector. So I have to add this IXL to IRA, right? From the ending of IRA, I have to start IXL vector and write like this. Okay, so this is IXL vector. So if you add these three, V plus IRA plus IXL, what you get? You will get E. Okay, so to this IXL, I have to add, actually here for E naught, I have to add for IXL, IXA. That is XS is equal to XL plus XA, right? So for IXL, I have to add IXA drop. So IXA. So E naught is equal to V plus IRA plus IXL plus IXA. Total it becomes E naught. And IXRA plus IXL, I can write IZ. And IRA plus IXS, I can write I into ZS. Okay, clear? It is impedance. Next, this is lagging power factor. So in the lagging power factor, this is V. I lagging means I is behind V. Okay, so as how I is located, IRA drop will be, resistance drop will be located like that. So IRA will be parallel to I. It is starting from V. At the end point of V, we have to start IRA. So IRA. Perpendicular to IRA, I have to write IXL. That becomes V plus IRA plus IXL. That becomes E. And for E naught. For IXL, I have to add IXA. That becomes IXS total. Okay. So IXA will be from added to IXL. So V plus IRA plus IXA becomes E naught. Okay. So IRA, V plus IRA plus IXL. From this, IRA plus IXL becomes IZ. And IRA plus IXA becomes IZS. This is lagging power factor. Next, leading power factor. This is V. And leading means I will be leading. I will be leading. Okay, so as I lead, what happens? IRA will be same parallel to I. So as I is located upwards like this, IRA will be also like this upwards. So V plus IRA, and to IRA perpendicularly add IXL. So V plus IRA plus IXL gives E. And IRA plus IXL gives IZ. And to IXL add IXA. So V plus IRA plus IXL plus IXA. That means IXS. That gives E naught. So IRA plus IXS gives IZS. So these are the vector diagrams of the loaded alternator. Unity, lagging, and leading. Okay, next one. Voltage regulation. So what is the definition of voltage regulation? So before machines, voltage regulation is same as the alternator voltage regulation also. So what is the definition of the voltage regulation? The change in the load from no load to loaded. Okay, so it is clear that there will be a change in load. So there is a change in terminal voltage of the alternator, right? So the magnitude of the change will be depending not only on the load, but also it depends upon the load power factor. So I can say that the voltage regulation of the alternator, it is defined as the It is defined as the rise in voltage when full load is removed. That means field excitation and speed are remaining in the same value. And it is denoted by rated terminal voltage. So in the definition, I can say that rise of voltage from full load to no load by no load voltage. Okay, so percentage regulation up and percentage regulation down you are having. So out of this, I am saying the percentage regulation up formula E naught minus V by V into 100. So actually regulation is E naught minus V by V. Okay, percentage regulation means you have to multiply with 100. Okay, so we have to note that this E naught minus V, it is the arithmetical difference, not the vectorical difference. So what we have seen in the before vectors, it is not the vector difference, it is the arithmetical difference. Suppose if you take in leading load power factor, the terminal voltage will fall on removing the full load. So regulation is negative in this case. And the rise in voltage when full load is thrown off, it is not same as that fall in voltage when full load is applied. So the voltage characteristics will be shown in figure. These are the characteristics. This is the lagging one, and this is unity, and this is for leading. So what is our aim is we have to find this voltage regulation. So determination of this voltage regulation. See here, for determining the voltage regulation for small machines. Suppose if you consider a small machine, the regulation will be found direct by loading. So how is the procedure means? The alternator is driven at synchronous speed ns and the terminal voltage is adjusted to its rated value V. Okay, so first we have to drive the alternator in synchronous speed and terminal voltage is adjusted to its rated value V. Now the load is varied until the wattmeter and ammeter indicates the rated values at desired PF. So now after load is varied and we get the desired values, the entire load is thrown off. And speed and field excitation are kept constant. But speed and field excitation are kept constant. Now the open circuit or no load voltage E naught is noted down. E naught is noted down. Is red. So hence regulation can be found from the formula percentage regulation is equal to E naught minus V by V into 100. This is the case in small machines. But in the case of large machines, the cost of finding the regulation by direct loading, it becomes very prohibitive. So we have to choose for other indirect methods, what I am discussing below. So in these all the procedures, what I am discussing below, the common way is no load voltage E naught is commonly found in each case. Okay, first one is synchronous impedance method, or it is also called as EMF method. So this is due to Ben Essenberg. Okay, next method is ampere turn or MMF method. This is due to Rothert. And third one is zero power factor or Pottier method. So as the name indicates, it is due to Pottier. So all the above three methods requires three common factors. First one, armature or stator resistance RA. Second one, open circuit or no load characteristics. Third one, short circuit characteristics. Okay, so mainly zero power factor lagging characteristics from the Pottier method. So now let us discuss these each three methods one by one. First one, value of RA. So this value of RA, armature resistance per phase, it is directly measured by the voltmeter and nanometer method, or by using Wheatstone bridge method. You know all about ammeter voltmeter method or Wheatstone bridge method. So under working conditions, this effective value of RA is increased due to skin effect. So the value of RA is increased by 60%, and we have to allow this effect also. So generally the value is 1.6 times the DC value is taken. This is RA. And OCC characteristics. Second one, open load or no load characteristics. So in DC machines, this is plotted by the running machine on no load. And by noting the values of induced voltage, EMF excitation. Okay. So if you plot this, this is just like a BH curve. You know all about the open load, open circuit characteristics. And third one is short circuit characteristics. It is obtained by short circuiting the armature, the stator windings, through a low resistance ammeter. Okay, so if you adjust the excitation, the excitation is adjusted to give 1.5 to 2 times the value of full load current. So during this test, the speed which is not synchronous, but we have to keep it constant. Okay, so first one, synchronous impedance method. So in this method, the following procedure steps we have to maintain. We have to go. So first one, OCC is plot from the given data, as shown in figure. This one, like this one. The OCC. See here, this is the OCC. This should be plot. And second one, SCC is drawn from the given data by short circuit test. So in the same figure, you have to draw SCC, this one, short circuit test, by the short circuit test. So it is a straight line passing through the origin. This short circuit test in the diagram, if you see this, it is a straight line passing through the origin, and both the curves are drawn on the same common current base. So this is the common current base for both OCC and SCC. Okay, and so I'm considering the field current IF. The OC voltage corresponding to this field current is E1. Okay, so for the field current IF, the voltage is E1. And when the winding is short circuited, the terminal voltage is 0, right? So it is assumed that whole of this voltage E1 is being used to circulate the armature short circuit current I1 against the synchronous impedance ZS. So I can write E1 is equal to I1 into ZS. From this, ZS is equal to E1 by I1. E1 is open circuit and I1 is short circuit. So third consideration is, as RA is found before discussed procedure, from that I can write XS is equal to ZS square, root of ZS square minus RA square. And fourth one is, knowing the RA and XS vector diagrams as shown in the figure, we can draw for any load, any power factor. So OD is equal to E0 and E0 is equal to OB square plus BD square. From this, E0 is equal to this formula. So percentage regulation up is equal to E0